Okay, good morning from Canada. Thank you for joining. My name's Joanna. If we haven't met before, I'll be guiding you for the next 45 minutes. And for today's practice, we are taking a Hatha style class and keeping it very, very simple. I spend a lot of time working for Your Yoga Flow on the support email, and we receive a lot of questions about planning the practicum portion of the course, about sequencing, about whether they can or can't include things, whether things can overlap, such as breath work and meditation. And so today I just wanted to offer a very simple and clean option for those of you who might perhaps be feeling a little overwhelmed by the practicum portion of the class. It doesn't need to be complicated, and in fact I would encourage you to rein it in a little bit, because especially if this is the first time you're ever teaching a yoga class, you don't want to put all that extra pressure on yourself to remember all these complex aspects of the sequence when you could keep it very simple and keep every criteria of the course separate. When we keep each area of the course separate, it also helps your evaluating teacher when marking your practicum. They can clearly see that you have met the criteria and give you useful feedback for that section. So that being said, today you will need 2 blocks, and if you have access to a blanket, it's a really nice option to support the legs and for Shavasana. So feel free to grab that as well. So 2 blocks and a blanket. And then once you have your props and you're ready to go, find your way into Sukhasana, a tall, comfortable seat. We will start there. I have elevated my pelvis on a single block, so feel free to do that as well, or sit directly on your mat. And I have the blanket folded under my ankles and lower legs, simply for more comfort. If sitting on the floor is not for you, you can always sit in a chair, or you can sit leaning against a wall with your legs out in front of you. Root down through your pelvis as you're ready and place your hands facing down on your thighs. This is to provide a sense of grounding to the body. And then lengthen tall through the crown of your head. Relax your shoulder blades back and down. And if you're comfortable, close your eyes or just bring your gaze down to the floor. And start to receive your breath. With every exhale of your breath, softening into your body a little more. Softening around the muscles of the face. Softening into the lower belly. Softening around your shoulders. We can unconsciously be holding tension in the body even when we think we're in a place of relaxation. So just continue to scan up and down through your own body, honoring the spaces that need a little more attention today, those spaces that need a little more breath. Using these initial moments of your practice to check in, to see how you're doing, to see what you're needing. If an intention comes to mind, please repeat it to yourself silently. If an intention doesn't come to mind, that's fine too. Perhaps you could repeat the mantra, I am here. I am here. When you're ready, take a deep breath in through your nose and a cleansing exhale from the mouth. And again, in through the nose and out through the mouth. One more cycle in. Big exhale out. And then start to gently return to a natural breath and wiggle your fingers and toes. Roll your wrists. Maybe move your head a little side to side. And take a nice big stretch. And then exhale, bring your hands down. Inhale, lift your shoulders up. Exhale, roll your shoulders back and down. And again, inhale, lift the shoulders up. Exhale, back and down. One more cycle of that. Inhale, lift the shoulders. And exhale, roll the shoulders back and down. Let us meet in tabletop position. So removing any props you might be sitting on. And perhaps sliding your blanket now underneath your knees for extra padding. Root your hands underneath your shoulders and your knees underneath your hips. And tuck your toes. Spread all 10 fingers into the floor and root down through each finger pad so you're not dropping the weight into your wrists, but you can actually feel the tops of your hands strengthening. Draw your belly button towards your spine and find length through the crown of your head all the way down to your tailbone. And then do check that you're not locking your elbows. So there is a little micro bend there, a little softness to the arms so that you can start to feel some strength building through the arms and shoulders. From here, let's take cat-cow. So as you inhale, tilting your tailbone towards the sky, drawing your belly towards the floor, and then lifting your chin and your chest up. And as you exhale, draw your tailbone under your body, lift your middle back to the sky, and look towards your belly button, chin towards chest. So continuing this, your inhale takes you into cow pose. The movement starts from the tailbone and finishes at the crown of the head. And the exhale starts at the tailbone. You round your spine and start to look towards your belly. One more cycle of that, going at your pace. Inhale to flow forwards and up. And exhale to round. And then come back to a neutral spine. Spread your fingers and tuck your toes and come into a downward facing dog. So lifting your pelvis towards the sky, starting to lengthen through the backs of your legs and hugging your heels towards the mat. Keeping a nice micro bend through your knees, actively hugging your shoulder blades down the backs of your rib cage. Letting your head hang heavy, softness through your elbows once again, and that rooting quality through your two hands. Belly button drawn towards spine, massaging the digestive system. If this ever feels too much today, you can always return to tabletop, no problem. Let's return to some deep breaths here. So breathing in through the nose and a full cleansing exhale from the mouth. In through the nose, out through the mouth. One more cycle in. Big breath out. Look to your hands, bend your knees a little more, and walk your feet to your hands at the front of your mat. Perhaps take your 2 blocks under your hands. Take a halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. And then exhale, fold over your 2 legs, Uttanasana. Again, like that, inhale, halfway lift. So lifting the heart to the same line as the hips, crown of the head extending forwards. Exhale, fold, drawing belly button to spine, chest over thighs. One more time, inhale, lengthening, lifting, breathing in. Exhale, fold. Stay here now, rooting your hands either onto the mat, your blocks, or maybe wrapping hands around opposite elbows and letting your head hang heavy between your arms. Playing with the weight distribution through your feet. So see if you can give your 10 toes a little more of the weight. Let the heels be a little lighter. Knees soft, lots of breath. If this creates any dizziness or nausea, just rest your forearms onto your thighs and look at the floor in front of your own mat. That way you're keeping your head in line with your heart, in line with your hips. It's often when we lower the head below the heart that we feel that dizziness. So play with this as an option, keeping the spine in one long line. And then root down through your feet, bending your knees, roll up through your spine, one vertebra at a time, leaving the arms heavy. Take your time with this. Be the last one to roll all the way up to stand. This is a great gentle massage for the spine and allows us to get familiar with how the spine is moving and feeling. Roll your shoulders back at the top and take another big breath in. Big breath out. You're in Tadasana, mountain pose. Palms slightly facing forwards, arms a little away from your body. Feet spread wide, knees soft. Lift and lengthen through the crown of your head. Notice how you are. Come back to any intention you set or to your mantra, I am here. And inhale, sweep both arms wide and up to the sky. Look to your fingertips above you. And then exhale, forward fold over your legs. Inhale, halfway lift, length through the spine. Exhale, step back with your left foot and lower your left knee to the earth. Your 2 hands can be on your mat or on your blocks. You can remain like this or hug through your inner leg lines. Press through your bottom foot, your right foot that is, and lift your arms overhead. Low crescent lunge. Further to this, your right hand can come onto your right hip, your left arm overhead, and then take a gentle side body stretch. You're breathing into your left side, you're hugging through your inner legs, your belly button's drawn towards spine. Use your inhale to bring that left arm back overhead. Exhale to lower the left hand onto the hip. And just play again with finding that gentle hug through your midline. squeezing through your inner legs so we're not compressing the lower back. You can stay like this or play with interlacing your hands now on your lower back, rolling your shoulders up, back and down, and maybe extending your arms up and away from your body, opening up through your chest, maybe lifting your chin slightly, coming into a very gentle upper back bend. And then releasing those hands back onto the mat or onto your blocks, lifting the back knee up and off the floor and stepping forwards, Uttanasana. Take a halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana, and exhale to fold. Bend the knees and roll up through the spine again, one vertebra at a time. Massaging the back, becoming more familiar with the spine, how it's feeling today, what it's needing today. And at the top, standing in mountain pose, Tadasana. Take a big breath in and a big breath out. Return to your intention or your mantra. Rooting back into present moment awareness. Rooting back into why you showed up on your mat today. Inhale both arms up to the sky. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, stepping back with your right foot, lowering your right knee to the earth. Here we are once again in our low lunge, either hands to blocks, hands to the mat, or we're floating those long arms up to the sky, testing our balance, exploring a little more strength through our legs, hugging those lower ribs in, and finding our breath. Stay like this, or left hand on the left hip, right hand up and overhead, and a couple of sweeping breaths into this side stretch. You might find the stretch is more under your arm or into your side waist, or maybe into the psoas, into the right hip flexor even. Inhale that right arm back overhead and then right hand onto the right hip. Find a moment to just be here, strengthen your legs in a place of balance. And then option to interlace your two hands on the lower back, roll the shoulders up, back and down, hugging the elbows towards one another. Or extend your hands away from your back and upwards, lengthening the arms, broadening the chest, and maybe explore lifting the chin towards the sky. Keep breathing, keep present. And then lowering your two hands either down onto the mat or onto your blocks, either side of the left foot. Lift that right knee off the floor, and this time place both hands onto the mat if they're not already, removing your props and stepping back into downward facing dog. Find the anchors through your hands and feet, and know that you can always come into tabletop here if you prefer. So far in the practice, we have looked at a couple of different ways to move the spine. We've been in flexion and extension, and we've taken a lateral flexion, so side body stretch. We're yet to take a twist, and I really want us to make sure we get into a twist today. So when you're ready, you can come down onto your hands and knees. And inhale your right arm into the sky, opening your chest. As you exhale, take your right arm under your left arm and start to lower your right ear and shoulder onto your mat, keeping your pelvis high. If that feels like the floor is a little too far away, take a hold of your blocks and place them underneath your right ear and right shoulder so you have some extra support there. Your pelvis is high and your left hand is rooting down onto the mat so that you can turn your chest a little more to the left. Maybe that is enough. Or option two, take that left hand forwards to the front of your mat and maybe slightly over to the right corner of your mat so you get a deeper line of stretch under that left arm and around the left shoulder. You can stay like that, or left hand can reach up to the sky, and maybe left hand is on your lower back or around to your right hip crease, opening your chest more to the left. Whichever twist you're in, make sure your breath isn't compromised, meaning you can still breathe fluidly in and out. There's no obstructions. Lovely. Then place that left hand back onto your mat. Use your inhale to come all the way back to tabletop, and then pour out your exhale breath into the floor. And here you might enjoy a little rocking of your hips side to side. And then the second side, inhale your left arm up to the sky, opening the chest left. Exhale, left arm under your right arm, either lowering your left ear and shoulder onto your blocks or directly onto the mat. Your right hand is supporting you, rooting down into the floor, or right hand is walking to the front of the mat to maybe slightly over to the left, or the right hand is reaching for the sky, or maybe wrapping behind your back, maybe even towards your left leg. Feel free to close your eyes here and focus on simple breathing in and out, adjusting the pose if your breath feels short or compromised. And then let that right hand rest back onto the mat. Use your inhale to come to tabletop and your exhale in tabletop. Rock the hips again if that feels good. And remove any props that are in front of you. Start to widen your knees, connect your big toes together, and let's sink the pelvis back and down into Balasana, child's pose. Melting your chest forwards and down, along with your forehead to the mat. If the forehead doesn't reach the mat, maybe take a block and place it under the forehead to create a little shelf. You don't have to have your arms long and straight. You could always bend more into the elbows and have your forearms on the floor. Soft breathing into your lower belly and a heaviness to the back of your pelvis. If there is a gap between your pelvis and your heels, you can always roll up your blanket and place it into that area so that your body feels supported. Take a couple of deep, wide breaths into your lower back and lower belly. And then start to lift your head as you inhale, walk your hands towards your legs and roll up through your spine. Exhale at the top here. And then come around to your seat. And feel free to place a block underneath your pelvis once again, and maybe a blanket under your ankles once again. We're going to come into a little seated meditation. So your hands can rest, palms face down on your thighs like we did at the beginning of class. Or you can bring your hands into Gaya Mudra. So just having your index fingers and thumbs lightly connected and the palms facing down or up on your thighs. Gaya Mudra is a symbol of concentration. So feel free to use this in your meditation practice. If it doesn't serve you, then you can simply release the fingers and just let the hands rest naturally on your legs. Once you've found Sukhasana, your tall seat, relax your shoulders a little more and start to receive your breath. Softening your eyes or closing your eyes. And let us come into the meditation of Thich Nhat Hanh. Breathing in, I calm my body. Breathing out, I smile. So you can repeat this to yourself silently with every inhale and exhale breath, which can help you to remain present and aware of what you're doing now and not distracted by other thoughts or stimuli. Inhale, I calm my body. Exhale, I smile. You can begin whenever you're ready. Inhale, I calm my body. Exhale, I smile. Repeat this 3 more times. And after your 3 cycles, you can start to wiggle your fingers and toes a little, releasing the mudra and fluttering your eyes open perhaps, or just keeping them low to the earth. And from here we will transition onto our backs, so do take your time with this. Moving all the way down to the earth, and perhaps hugging your knees into your chest when you get there, and rocking a little across your lower back. And then keeping just your right knee hugging into the chest, slide your left leg all the way down the mat as much as it's comfortable to go. You can always keep more of a bend in that left knee if you need to, or extend the leg completely and flex the left foot. Your hands are around the right shin or right hamstring, and you're hugging that right knee towards your chest while softening your shoulders back and down. You can relax the right foot and send breath in and out of your lower belly to massage your digestive system and to invite a calmness to your nervous system. Lower belly breathing is so grounding for the body. It helps us to connect to our true state. When we're breathing constantly up in the chest, it can leave us feeling a little flighty or anxious. So we have to focus in on breathing further down the body, down into the base of the belly, so that we can remain anchored and calm. You can stay like this in knee to chest pose, or move into half happy baby. So left hand on your left hip, right arm inside the right leg, and then the right hand around the outside of the right foot. You're flexing that right foot up into the sky and bending the right knee down the side of your body towards your right armpit. You can wrap your right hand around the back of the right leg if that's more accessible, or right hand on the ankle, the right ankle. Start to hug your right knee back into your chest. And then place the right foot onto the floor and hug your left knee in, sliding your right leg down the mat any amount. Maybe pushing the sole of that right foot away from you, relaxing your shoulders to the earth, breathing in and out of the lower belly once again. Stay here, or half happy baby. Left hand around the outside of the left foot flexing towards the sky, left knee bending down the side of your body. Right hand on the right hip or on the floor to the right side of your body to help keep that side of your body rooting down. And again, accessing the foot might not be for everybody, so try the ankle or holding the back of the left leg instead. And remember, you can always add more bend to the extended right leg as and when you need. Start to hug that right leg, the left knee back into your chest and lower the left foot to the earth. This time bringing both soles of the feet to the mat, connecting the soles of your feet together and letting your knees go wide for butterfly pose, Supta Baddha Konasana. You might find that using your blocks under your hips or knees might be really helpful to you, especially if you have sensitivity in those areas. You can wedge your blocks under the hips so that the knees don't go so wide, or you can let the legs go a bit wider and put the blocks under your knees if that's where you need the support. If you feel pretty open in this shape, things feel good, try placing a block under your feet. So your feet are slightly elevated. This can create a bit more space for your knees to go wider and opens the hips a little deeper. You can either rest your hands on your inner thighs, on your lower belly, or arms wide across the floor with the palms facing up. With every inhale, feel the front lines of your body expanding. And with every exhale, feel the back lines of your body relaxing, sinking more into the floor. Now, if this butterfly shape just does not feel good today, no problem. Bring your legs into Shavasana, long, wide, extended legs. And before we take our practice into our final shape of Shavasana, I invite you to join me for a 3-part yogic breath. So yogic breath. So you're going to have one hand on your lower belly and one hand on your heart space. If you'd rather remain just simply breathing in and out as you are, then continue with that. For this breath quality, you want to feel the breath rising and falling into your hands. So you'll begin by expanding your lower belly, your rib cage, and all the way up to the top of your chest. And then as you exhale, you'll draw all the air out and feel a gentle tone of your belly button towards your spine, a little contraction of the belly. You'll continue like that. Your inhale, filling up your lower belly, your ribs, and your chest. And then your exhale, drawing all that air out until you feel a gentle toning of your abdomen. Carrying on in your own way, in your own rhythm. If you can, as you do this pranayama, try and maintain the inhale and exhale through the nose. However, if that doesn't feel good, take the inhale through the nose and the exhale through the mouth. And take 3 more cycles of this in your own way, in your own pace. When you finish your 3 cycles, you can bring your hands to the outsides of your legs and then bring the knees back together. You might enjoy a moment with the feet as wide as your mat, knees touching, hands to lower belly, returning to a natural breath. Observing how you are, perhaps coming back to your intention or the mantra, I am here. And then you can find your way to Shavasana if you're not there already. Widening the legs, feet turning out, arms slightly wider than your body with the palms facing up. Shoulders nuzzling behind you, back of the head heavy. And maybe a blanket resting over your entire body or folded and just resting on your belly for grounding. Allowing your entire body to simply rest and settle now. No more to do. I will call you from Shavasana when it's time. Until then, simply rest. If you have longer to dedicate to your Shavasana today, please stay as you are. However, if it's time for you to come out, start to deepen your breath and add a little bit of movement into your fingers and toes. Start to move your wrists and ankles. Take a nice long full body stretch as you inhale. And as you exhale, hug your knees to your chest. You can rock generously across your back until you roll onto your side. And then take a couple of moments to come all the way up to a tall seat of Sukhasana. Hands resting wherever they land. Eyes still closed or soft to the floor. And check in with your body, see how you are here at the end of your class. Scanning through your systems. Acknowledging the art of simple movement and breath. Not overcomplicating. Simply being here. Let us close our practice with a sealing breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. Thank you so much for your time. It's my pleasure to guide you always. Namaste.